CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS 80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. It's time to drop your socks and grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, everybody, and welcome to episode 116 of CoCoTALK Live. This week we're going to be talking about the CoCo Forever screening party winners and probably other CoCo stuff too. So are you ready?
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, everybody, we're here. We are live. It's CoCoTALK time. You know what time it is? It's CoCoTALK time. Welcome, everybody. We got a great panel here. We've got the Hollywood Squares. We've got the Brady Bunch. You name it. We're all here. Let's start in the bottom right-hand corner and go in a counterclockwise fashion. How about we start with Jason, the Coco Man Reichart. Welcome to the program, Jason.
Hello, hello. Objects in mirror may be closer than they appear.
We have the Thunder from down under all the way in Australia. Legendary game designer in his own mind, Mr. Nick Marentes. Hello, Nick.
G'day, everyone.
Yay.
G'day, yep. Crikey.
Crikey. We've got our own celebrity on the show, too. The host that brings in all the numbers, who draws the big crowds. The internet's own Grant Leedy is with us. Hello, Grant.
Yay.
Hey, how's everybody going today?
Everybody's going well. So, we're not here just about the Coco. We also let Apple folk in, too. And as proof of that, we've got our resident Apple guy. He's also a coconut, but Mr. Mark Overholzer is with us. Hello, Mark.
Hello there. Thank you very much.
And balancing out the Canadian quota, we're going to have to mention his name at least 3 times to make up for some of his other comrades who aren't here just yet. So how about we say a big warm welcome to Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta, everybody.
Good day. Yeah, I guess I'm the only Canadian here right now, aren't I?
Yes.
Wow.
Nick Marotta.
And he's here.
Heavy responsibility.
It is. You must carry the Canadian torch for us.
I will.
From Chicagoland area, member of the Glenside Color Computer Club, all around nice guy. You know him. We love him. Eric Canales is with us. Hello, Eric.
How are you?
Hello, hello. And
Hello.
we also have with us a guy who has been our backup streaming engineer, the guy who's kept the Tandy flame alive many, many times. He knows a lot about hardware and is a sharp dresser. You know him. We love him. It's Mark Bosley in the house. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
You sound biased.
Yes. We also have a guy who gets probably a thing too many from week to week in his collection, but they all look nice. And you know him, and sometimes we're jealous of him, but it's Brian Weiseler in the house.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Nice mug there, Brian, and I'm referring to your drinking cup. Last but not least, in the center square to block, it's Ron Delvo.
Hello. From Arizona. Toasty, Arizona, where it's dry.
Yes. And we've got a number of people already with us in the live stream right now. So who was here? Nick Marotta was in the live stream. Terry Steggy was here saying, have a great show today, guys. So Terry was unable to join us. Mark Overholzer has been here. Nick Marotta. Fred Dufois has joined us in Facebook. Hello, Fred. Mark B says hi. Alexander Wallace, our friend in Mexico. Terry Steggy says, I'm glad, Nick. Enjoy it, brother. Terry Steggy says,
That's related to my
Forever.
PC, by the way.
Oh, okay, that's right.
He sent me a new PC, and it's
there
awesome.
you go. He says, I'm here in spirit. Ken Reichart says, we are installing a loft bed. Okay, thanks for the random piece of information there. Terry says, I'm here in spirit. Tim Franklin, another CoCo Glenside member of the Chicagoland area. Tim Franklin's here, says, hi, Mark and everyone. Who else is here? Terry Steen, killer of couches, is here. Whoop, whoop, he is here. Terry Steen says, hey, Mark, sorry for letting my Coco Pie project push the PS2 mouse project to the back burner. Be back on it soon. Joe Burnett has just shown up saying good afternoon, and Davey Mitchell from the European area is here too. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. So the main thing we're going to do today is, number one, remind you all of a very special event we're going to have tomorrow evening. And that event is our CoCo Forever private screening party. And hopefully DeBruce will show up here at some point in time today. But for those not familiar, and by the way, David Ladd has just joined up here. Let's see if I have the right button for David Ladd. Let's see.
David Ladd.
There we go. There's David Ladd. And then let's see if this is my other David Ladd button.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind.
No,
Thank you.
That's not it. How about this one here?
Oh, I'm much happier breaking stuff.
There we go. Mr. I'm happy breaking stuff. David, can you... D. Bruce says he'll try to join us a bit later.
Yep.
Yes, okay. David, do you copy?
Yes, I do, sir. And how is everybody today?
We're doing much better now that you are here, David Ladd.
Why, thank you, sir.
Yes. So
I was worried about where the show was going to go, but now I know.
Now we know. So yeah, we want to remind you that tomorrow evening, which is July the 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, is the private screening of the entire season of CoCo Forever. There are 10 episodes featuring the cast and crew and commentary and story sharing. We've invited people who have purchased the any or all of the episodes have been invited. The patrons of the show have been invited. And then we also had a little contest where we basically says, hey, if you would like to join our screening party, send us an email and tell us why. And so we've got an email. I'm going to go ahead and go over the list in a little bit, letting you know all the people who will be joining us on the program. So Terry Steen says CoCo Forever is an awesome product. Very cool. All right, so that's all we have to say about that. We'll get into that in just a little bit. We'll tell you who's going to be joining us. On that note, after we typically do our panel introductions, we play the game that we like to call Show and Tell, project updates and acquisitions. Does anybody have anything that they've done or come across or acquired this week that you would like to share with the world? Anyone?
Yeah, I've got a bit of a project here I've been working on.
This is Eric Canales speaking, for those of you.
I've got this box full of floppies, and they're the Disc of the Month Club for the Glenside Color Computer Club. They run from January 92 to December 96. Got them all imaged. I just need October 1993. The disc I have appears to be bad. Once that one's imaged, I'll release that on the internet, along with some directory listings and maybe pick out a few programs to look at.
So remind us or enlighten us, for those who don't know, this is the Disc of the Month Club is something that it belonged to or still belongs to the Glenside Color Computer Club. So let us know a little bit about that and what it contains. How many floppy disks we're looking at here, what's on them.
Well, there's one every month. I think 93 had a bonus disc. I haven't looked at a whole lot of what was on these discs yet. They were released for a few years to members of the club, just as a Disc of the Month exclusive for club members. Yeah, I don't know much else about these.
I mean, I'm assuming they were like mostly software written in BASIC, open source, public domain software, things like that.
That's correct. Yeah, they were submitted, I presume, by club members or various locations. Some of the discs appear to just have images on them or in image. So
like picture images.
Yeah, like a picture. I'll be interested to see what's on those.
Okay.
This demo I have running in the background is the waterfall demo, written by I forget who it was written by, but it's a palette graphic image. I presume that Marentes copied this for his game.
His cheap knockoff, right? So, okay. Very cool. Very cool. So that's one of them. And I can barely see it in the background, but it looks like a nice graphic there. So we have a waterfall, animated waterfall going down between a cliff or some rocks and things like that. Very cool. So Alexander Wallace is saying, is it too late to send in your email? No, Alexander, go ahead. Send in your email. Send your email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live, and we'll be happy to invite you in. And yeah, that's cool. So that's a project you were working on, and his project is done, except for which floppy are you missing right now? So for those...
I need October 93. I've emailed a few people who might have that, and once that's imaged, then I'll put the collection out on Facebook and maybe the Glenside website and wherever else.
The CoCo archive, probably, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a cool project. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
And also, while we have you here focused on, we just had a Glenside Color Computer Club meeting this past Thursday. Many of us on the panel were there. You were there in person at Brian Schubring's house. I think one of the things that we wanted to mention, I believe John Linville has already posted this in a few of the Facebook groups too, but we want to start focusing on coming up with a theme for next year, right? So the year is 2020. And it's the 40th anniversary of the CoCo. So just going with 2020 and 40th anniversary, there are some ideas for themes. So along the lines of the themes, we need artwork. We need theme suggestions, possibly theme songs, you name it. So for those of you out there with the creative genes in you, or if you have a pair of creative genes you can put on to do something creative, we'd love to see some submissions for that. This year's theme that just passed was Make the Trek, and so it was kind of a Star Trek theme, and so we had some artwork that went with that, and then Bruce Moore did a very cool song parody to that. So it'd be cool to see what you guys come up with for next year's CoCo Fest, the 2020. That's the year and the 40th anniversary. So put on your theme thinking caps and go forth and theme. Cool. Anything else, Eric, you wanted to share with us?
Oh, well, not really. I am bringing my, for tomorrow's show, I'm bringing my bandana here that has all of the instructions needed to bring modern technology to the past.
Okay.
What's hiding behind that bandana? It's suspicious.
Oh, just some projects I'm working on. I got a CoCo taken apart. And, yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
Brian Weiseler, have you acquired anything else this week?
Well, yes, I do got one thing to show you, but I got just a couple things that came in the other day here. A couple games that I've been, one that I already have, but it was in with the group there was
okay.
Canyon Climber, so I thought was a fun one. And then one that I've been waiting for, and that was Pinball.
Okay.
So got that one there. So that was kind of a one I've been waiting to get. And then one that I thought was kind of cool, and I did post it out on Facebook and got a lot of nice comments about it. But this is the book that I located.
Oh, yes. Lots of comments on the font, on the fact that the robot guy looks like the guys from Daft Punk.
This actually came all the way from Australia. So, here, Nick, I'm sorry. There, is that better?
Crikey!
Now I see it. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. But it was really a very cool book. I had never seen this one before. It covers a lot of the same materials that you see in some of the other books, where it talks about basic, extended basic, gets into a little bit about graphics and P modes and some of the semi-graphics and stuff. So it's kind of an interesting little read. But making the most of your color computer.
And it's interesting that they spelled color correctly in Australia.
Right.
So, there's no extra U in there.
Yeah, and actually,
I do have a question about the cover there. Is that the origination of the melted keyboard with the laser there?
Yes,
pew,
there
pew.
you go.
It doesn't even look like a CoCo though.
It does.
It's warped at the end.
It's a little. It's
the ratios are wrong.
Australian CoCo.
Right. Yeah, you can kind of see the vents right here, and then here's your here's the logo.
The ratios are wrong. It's compressed from left to right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a very stylistic. It looks like what almost more. It looks like a CoCo 1 keyboard on a more CoCo 2-ish form factor. So it's kind of a hybrid CoCo 1.5 or something, you know. Cool.
I did have a question. For Nick though. Was there a lot of Australian specific books and things like that were out there?
I didn't know if that was really Australian. Does it actually say it's Australian? I mean,
It says on the back. It says published by Prentice Hall of Australia, PTY Ltd.
If you look
or
close,
Tandy Australian Ltd Corporation.
If you look close, it says Crikey Press.
Crikey.
I don't know if this will focus or not very well. Probably not. But
Yeah.
anyway. But no, it says for Tandy Australia Ltd.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was just kind of curious.
Like you said, the spelling of color is wrong, but
Right. So yep. So yeah, I ran.
And you just getting all this stuff on eBay, Brian?
Yeah, this was through eBay. Yep, I just did an eBay search and happened to stumble across this one. So yeah, there's actually out there right now. There's probably about 20 or 25 items that an individual from Australia has posted. Games, some different joysticks and things like that are out there, and because it says shipping from Australia, so I don't know if somebody out there is doing some house cleaning or getting out of the hobby, or came across some stuff in the back closet. And
is his last name Dundee by any chance?
How long does it take to generally get something from Australia?
This actually took, I would say, about 8 days.
Yeah, that's about right.
From the time that he sent it to get it here to where I'm at. So yeah,
not bad.
And the shipping is pretty reasonable. It was about as much as the cost for the book. So,
Okay.
but I guess that's to be expected.
Yeah, you think about how many kangaroos they had to sacrifice to get it across the outback. You know?
So yeah, so it was a fun one to get. I've enjoyed looking through it.
Okay,
yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Was that it, or do you have other items to make us jealous about?
No, not this week.
Okay. I think right now, Brian, based on the email that you sent me, we're not going to get into divulge too much information, but maybe just a small tease for now. But Brian Weiseler is working on potentially, and by the way, Ron Delvaux, he is stepping on your turf here. I don't know if he got permission to do this, but he spread his wings, and he is looking at booking a guest, and it's going to be potentially a pretty big guest that we may possibly have next week. We're not going to give away too many details right now, but other than to tease that you might want to tune in next week for, right now we have the internet's own Grant Leedy. So we are grateful that we do have celebrities join us, but this might be somebody whose star shines just a wee bit brighter than Grant's does. So stay tuned for that, and we'll let you know.
Is there any kind of a clue?
No, just a tease. Just going to be a little tease.
Like a machine language clue or a...
We rarely ever have a clue.
Yeah, no, we've never had a clue yet on this show, so why start now?
Is it somebody who's going to go far?
All I can say is it does not involve, or may not involve, an arithmetic chef left. I don't know. But no, we're not going to say anything else other than it'll be a special guest that you will probably want to tune in for. Vegemite not included, but Matchy says. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down is what Terry Steen's saying. All right. Terry Steen's not busy, taking out couches on the highway. And there's Jason Reichart in his own automobile. Look in your rearview mirror there, Jason. You got the Canadian Mountie after you.
I'm still parked.
That takes special talent.
I haven't even put it in drive now. Oh, now it is. But
all right. Excellent. It wouldn't be an episode of CoCoTALK without at least one person joining us from the road. That seems that we've got to have a Canadian, a car driver, and some other foreign dignitary here. And
at least
we are.
He's driving a good Mopar. A Journey.
All right.
A red Journey.
Do we have anybody else have anything they want to share with us this week? Any show and tells, acquisitions, news, updates, anything else? Anyone?
Bueller.
Nick Marentes, I think you have a new blog post, don't you?
I'm not sure what you're up to. I did do a GunStar blog about a week ago, so I don't know if that's been announced.
Okay, so we can possibly look at that and maybe have a little game on segment.
Yeah, I can't remember. Did we play that last week?
Oh,
I
look,
can't remember.
Ron Delvote has a acquisition. Sounds like you've got a laser.
GunStar.
Oh, he's got the sound effects for your next game.
I did some dumpster diving, which is appropriate for this show. I got some really
dumpster on fire.
Sexy glasses here.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, what do you think?
It looks good. Put them on.
Huh?
Do they smell like a dumpster?
Yes, they do. I have some cheesecake on the side here.
That you got from the dumpster? You really know how to pick them.
It's gone bad.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. David Ladd, do you copy? I want to remind you guys, too, do you have anything you want to update us this week with Dave's hobbies? Any progress you're making on frying pan electronics or anything like that?
Nope. Only frying my fingers.
Okay. Frying
but nothing new.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So we've gone around. Go ahead, Ron.
Have we beat this show to death?
Yeah, we have. Let's play the closing credits. Let's get out of here.
All right.
It's Miller time. Yeah. I want to remind you that we are live on Spreaker as well. So you can experience CoCoTALK a number of ways. So we stream live on YouTube. We are streaming live. We are multi-streaming on Facebook. We also stream on Twitch and Mixer. We are streaming live on Periscope and Twitter. And we are audibly streaming live as a live audio podcast right now on Spreaker. So there are many, many, many ways to enjoy CoCoTALK. And ask your doctor if CoCoTALK is right for you. And if CoCoTALK lasts more than 4 hours, you're welcome. Okay, so do we want to take maybe a commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll announce who's won the contest and maybe get into some news and things like that?
You know, speaking of Streaker, isn't it back in the 80s when there was streakers? Remember that?
70s.
In the football games and stuff, or was it 70s?
No,
When was that?
There's never a wrong time to streak, to be honest. So.
Yes, they call him the streak.
Yeah, there's the song.
Yeah, they call him the Streaker. Yeah.
What do you think? Great game for the Coco.
Look at that. Look at that.
The Coco Streaker. That could be. Ken Reichart says, who enjoys CoCoTALK? I'm not sure. Well, let me ask you guys a question. You guys are all familiar with Samuel Gimes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
what a prolific writer.
Samuel Gimes, prolific
cousin
writer.
of the Gimme.
He is. So Samuel Gimes has been, he's been putting a lot of thought into things lately and sharing those with us. So this will be the latest in a series of segments brought to us by Samuel Gimes that we call Coco Thoughts. So please enjoy Coco Thoughts 6, everyone.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. What if, knowing what you know now, you could go back in time, join the Tandy Corporation, and change the course of history? Or would you just go back to a burger chef before they're gone?
Hey, have you got your Coco 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer.
Get ready. What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, an up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moore, and this is Jacob Moore. Gotcha. And we are the Forest of Doom guys, and the CoCo Forever guys, and we are CoCo Fest, and we love Stevie Stroh.
Imagine a different world. A world where Tandy Corporation has the upper hand. Where the CoCo surpassed all competitors. And all you have to do is travel back in time without making a single mistake.
CoCo Forever.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
You definitely earned this office.
Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
You want to grab some food before we head back and look at that Alt Reality OS9 module?
It's only 40 years past due, but yeah, sure.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Computer shopping has never been better at Radio Shack. Here's proof. Our new ultra-high-performance 386SX 20 megahertz computer with 85 megabyte hard drive, only $12.99. And it's from Tandy, manufacturer of the best-selling PC compatibles in America. Or get a 286-based Tandy home office computer with color monitor and hard drive, only $899.95. Shop your friendly nearby Radio Shack. Great selection, superior service. Nobody compares.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
And we're back after a brief 9-minute commercial break. We have returned, and the panel's still here. We've managed to keep the panel awake. We've managed to keep the audience awake. The audience is still viewing, so thank you for being here. Go ahead.
I did have an acquisition I forgot about, but it's I got a boomerang from Richard to put in my computer, but it's a little too big. And I got the manual for it. It's Australian. It's a book on Australian slang.
Wow.
Can you see it?
But yeah, we can kind of sort of see it. You got to hold it up a little higher. Australian. And how thick is that book on Australian slang?
It's
pretty thick.
8 inches thick.
Wow. That's like a white pages Australian slang.
We got this at a garage sale.
For a Nazi Bible.
That's
an actual real one.
A real boomerang. It looks like a double-headed hockey stick.
It has some kind of a code on it.
Oh, those are cryptic runes. I think Nick can translate that.
What's that say, Nick?
It says, if you can read this, you're too close.
Ken Reichart says that's the 16 meg boomerang. So, wow. So, no, that's pretty cool. So, you have a thick book on Australian slang. So maybe for a segment today, because we're going to run out of actual real things to talk about pretty quickly here. So we're going to just turn to random pages and enlighten ourselves on Australian slang. And then maybe
crikey.
Crikey. Yes.
Oh, crikey.
So, D. Bruce Moore wants to know if that boomerang works with Sierra games. Have you tested it on the Sierra games?
Well, I haven't really tested it. I'm afraid.
He can't get it in his CoCo.
Well, this sucker could hurt you. Look at it. It's got red ends.
It does. That's a warning. All right.
Yeah. It's actually wood, too.
Okay. Speaking of Australians, you guys are doing a really shit job of letting in our panel here, but we've got Chad Edward, Nick's neighbor, also fellow Australian, has just joined us. Hey, Chad, welcome to the program.
Hey.
Chad's got a real Australian accent.
Yeah, finally someone I can understand.
Hello, Chad. Chad, do you copy?
Right now, I can't even hear him.
Yeah. Hey, Chad, let me get a crikey out of you.
Oh, crikey. At least he's here.
Yeah, so Chad's here. All right, we're going to move on with the show. So in the past few weeks, L. Curtis Boyle has taken on the responsibility of being our news anchor. And L. Curtis could not be with us today. So in his place, we are going to have, from the Glen side, Color Computer Club, we are going to have Eric Canales is going to be our news anchor today. So, Eric, you're not going to hear the music, but I'm going to play a little musical intro. And when I say take it away, Eric, that's when if you want to start sharing your screen, you can just share your screen now. But I'm going to introduce you. This is a professional show. We're going to play some music. I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to say, take it away, Eric, and you're going to take it away. Can we handle that?
I think I can do it.
All right. So, because Curtis screwed it up the first time we tried this. So,
no problem.
All right. So, here we go. Here, cue music. All right, everybody. It's time for news with Glenside Color Computer member Eric Canales. Take it away, Eric.
All right. So, let me share the screen here. And we'll take a look. Well, this before we get to the news, this is my listing of the Disc of the Month Club.
Oh wow!
There's quite a few discs. We got 159 discs.
Wow! And these were all physical floppies that you had to then use a real floppy drive and then image them over to a disk image that we've got.
That's right. Yeah, and I had to read them multiple times to get it to work. So I wrote a little program to just keep rereading it until it worked because it was just taking forever.
Roger that.
Floppies. Well, let's get on to the news here. Let's see. So our first bit of news is Nick Marentes' GunStar blog. He has a new entry on collision detection. And he talks about using XY coordinates to figure out the collision. I think this is called AAB collision. It's axis aligned bounding box. He doesn't describe that, but his process is basically that for all you game developers out there.
Okay, and it looks like David Ladd or somebody's scribbling on the screen right now. So real mature, real mature.
So Nick, is Nick with us or he's not?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Nick is no longer with us, but we did celebrate the life and times of Nick Marentes before his passing. So,
do you have problems with the bullets going through the ship? Because you would have that problem if the bullet is moving too fast.
No, it seems to work correctly. What do you mean? I don't know.
If the bullet is up here, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse.
Yeah, we can see.
Yep.
Yeah, if your bullet is up here on one frame, and then it comes down here, and it's here on the second frame, your bounding box check will miss it.
Yeah, but the bullet doesn't move in such big gaps, though.
Okay. So then.
Yeah. If it jumped in big gaps, it would miss you. But that means it can't collide.
There's the sound effects. You just heard some of Nick's multi-channel sound there in the background.
Yeah, so the bullet doesn't jump that much, so it will strike.
Yeah. Well, there's a technique called swept axis aligned bounding boxes where you just elongate this bullet, the collision box, not visually, just the box itself that it detects. You just elongate it by how fast it's going, in case you do need to.
Can do, but we are trying to save cycles in time. We don't want to spend too much time trying to detect for a collision. So you go for the simplest process you can. So
Okay. Well, that's a
because
good.
the game does allow, I think, up to, well, currently it's set to allow up to 10 missiles on the screen at a time. And the missile's not big; it's only just a byte wide thing. But I could actually extend it to 20 missiles. But can you imagine the game if it had 20 missiles as well as, all the alien sprites and everything? It'd be pretty impossible. So I set it to 10. I figured, well, that should be enough. That'll drive you mad.
This means you're making it too easy.
Well, we'll see. In the game testing, if it's too easy, I'll give it to Nick Marota there, and he can tell me if it's too hard, because he's only just broken past level 1 in Popstar Pilots.
Hey, you're stepping on the headline. I made it past level 1 on Popstar Pilot. That's huge news.
Oh,
doing better than Stevie.
Great.
But yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on here to our next news update. Blair Leduc, is it Leduc?
Leduc. It's kind of like Coco Do. I don't know. Leduc.
Leduc.
Yeah. He wrote some assembly extension for Visual Studio Code. I think there's a video on it too that I watched. So it's got all kinds of good features: syntax highlighting, basic line renumbering. Or is this?
Yeah, so this is using the Visual Studio now as an integrated development environment, or as a development tool, right? Where now you'll get your syntax highlighting and everything else using the Visual
Studio Code. It's a light version.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think was it here? Or somebody else wrote some other extensions too to Visual Studio Code.
I think if what's his face, Darren Grant, who runs Tandy in UK, started this, I believe, and I think people are. I think Darren started with an extended color basic one, and then Blair has been introducing an assembly one that I don't know if he started from scratch or got some other people. And then there's been a lot of input on Facebook, so I know.
Here it is. It's in my next window. This Jason here, Jason Pittman wrote some extensions for Visual Studio Code, and it's got a few features too, including line renumbering. You can automatically launch your compiler, CMOC, or I'm sure LW tools is in there too. Some disk tools. Yeah, so there's a lot of good development work.
So it's looking like a handful of people are now chipping in on this here, which is good, and then hopefully these things are getting merged together.
Yeah. I don't know if this is open source or what, but
well, I know the Microsoft tool is a free tool that's available that's cross-platform, right? So you can do Windows, Mac, and Linux with the Microsoft tool. And then I'm assuming these extensions, which are basically syntax highlighters, I'm assuming these guys are giving them away because they're working on them.
Yeah, these are free and available right now to.
Is it a GitHub? Are these being posted on a GitHub right now?
Here with Blair Leduc's assembly extension. This is on the Visual Studio Marketplace. It's free. Just install it.
Okay. And
then
the links to all these news articles are in the description of this video too. So if you're watching this live or you're watching it on a replay, you can scroll down into the description and there should be links there for everything we're covering today.
That's right.
Okay, so there's a video
Ken's video here describes his extensions, but I don't see a download link for these.
Okay. Well, Jason is one of the people who wrote in to want to be on the CoCo Forever thing. So I also invited him to join the show today. I'm not sure if he will, but hopefully he'll be on the call tomorrow night, and maybe we can pick his brain then.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, looking here, it looks like it's in the marketplace under CoCo Tools.
Okay.
So get that one.
Okay.
CoCo Tools and 6X09 assembly.
All right. So there's a few of them there.
Yeah. So try them out, and I'm sure there's good features for both, so you'll probably want to see what works best for you.
Excellent.
Moving on, we got
that's Brian's book cover he showed us. Yeah.
Facebook.
Does anybody know Peter Vernon? Have we heard from him before, or heard of him, or any other books he may have done? You can see a slightly better picture of the CoCo from this angle too, because Ron was saying, can you click on the picture and make it a little bit bigger there, Eric?
Yeah.
You don't have to write. I think you just click on it in Facebook. It'll make it bigger.
Yeah, it's like
I guess that's as good as it's going to get, right? Okay. So, yeah, that's it. No, it does look like a silver CoCo. Just, it's not quite to scale, but it has the same. It has the basic form factor. So it's kind of a stylized version. Ron's turning his head sideways.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
You turn your head sideways and you squint one eye and you pour some lemon in the other one, and you use your imagination. It looks almost like the real thing, right? So,
yeah.
And actually, right underneath his elbow there, you can see the like the 16K memory badge right there.
Oh yeah, there's the badge. You can see the vents. You can see the vents up on the left-hand side there.
I'm a big fan of vents.
And it's the first model CoCo one. It's got the badge on the left.
Yeah. Well,
and it's got the wide black area.
Yeah, the badge is on the left. Well, the Tandy logo badge is on the left, and the Ram badge is on the right. That's the first generation.
And the wide black area.
You know what this is? He's not destroying the CoCo. He's printing the letters on all the keys.
That's Ed Snyder.
Oh, he's engraving it. This is what Ed Snyder uses for his engraving. He's got a laser robot.
That is Ed Snyder with a suit on.
That's right. He's a Cylon because he works so hard. So there he is.
Yeah.
He's been doing this for 30 years.
He's been Cyloning with his laser eye. Freaking
Does it
laser.
Say, Ron, who's got the book? Ron has he?
Brian Weasley.
Yeah.
Ron has
Brian
the
Weasley.
Australian.
Slang.
Does it say who Peter Vernon is on the inside cover of the book?
Let me just see.
I'm looking here.
CoCoTALK investigates the elusive Peter Vernon.
That's right. Alias Ed Snyder.
I don't see anything
If
specific.
that's your real name.
Oh, they don't talk about the author. Okay.
Yeah, it really doesn't see too much there. It just says Peter Vernon, 1954. Making
Okay.
your POC color computer. Yep.
Yeah, he's my age.
Okay.
The spring chicken. A lot of comments there on the Facebook group, huh?
Yeah. Come.
Looks like Hugo mentioned he spells color wrong. So that's cool.
A lot of people like the font of the cover and stuff. So that was probably the most common thing. So.
So next up, we got Sheldon McDonald posting about his O-MIDI studio.
Yeah.
Is that Q-MIDI?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Q-MIDI.
Q-MIDI. Okay. And this is a neat approach that he's taking to this, and we've seen a few videos from him in the past where what he's doing is, rather than having the audio go back right into the cassette line or to the cartridge line of the CoCo, because apparently on that sound chip, which is the same one that's on the Game Master cartridge, it's in the Tandy 1000, that sound chip, as soon as it gets current to it, it starts making noise. So if you feed it directly through the cartridge line, you're going to hear noise coming out of your CoCo. So what he's doing is he's running it through the cassette port, and then in BASIC, you use the command audio on to hear the music when you want to hear it. So you can turn the sound on and off through BASIC. And he's also been working on some MIDI players and trackers and some assembly routines where you can play music in the background. He's shown some videos in the past where his software, you load the music into RAM, and it's kind of like an interrupt-driven routine where it just runs in the background, and you can still hit list and type in dir, and all the stuff you would do in BASIC you can still do. And so now he's come up with his own custom 3D printed case and his own cable. And so this is a new way to use the Game Master cartridge to where you don't necessarily have to know how to program in assembly. You can do it in BASIC and just upload some music you compose into memory and have it run in the background. So it's kind of a cool application.
I'm interrupt driven. Hello?
Yes.
Cool.
Hey, Chad says greetings from down under. Chad, it looks like you've been trying to join the call for a while. Are you going to Is Chad back with us? He's tried jumping on a few times. Now that looks cool. Has anybody else seen any stuff about this? Any of his videos?
I've never seen a cartridge that color.
It's 3D printed.
Mm.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
so we'll move on. We got Pierre Surratt and Kees Van Os releasing AGD game packs 33 and 34. They're on the worldofdragon.org message board.
Okay.
These are pretty interesting because they were written. It's a series of like 5 games on each pack. So there's 10 games written from a class of children age 10 in Bearsden Primary School of Scotland.
Wow.
And they wrote these games. They seem to have kind of taken the same template and made their own sprites, made their own sound effects, and their own stories. So I played them all. They're all pretty good.
Click on some of the screenshots.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, Bearsden Primary School. Okay.
That's right. This one
Lost
by
in Space.
teacher Dougie McGee, and they're all written by the students. They've all got this platform action going on. They've kind of all got their format with the scores and the lives.
Last Human. Okay, that looks pretty cool.
The Last Human, yeah. Some of them are really tricky, like some of the kids made hidden spikes or whatever that make you die when you jump in the wrong spot.
Okay, so they're like landing hazards.
Yeah, and then some of them chose like a more traditional game where everything is obvious, a platform or something that'll hurt you.
Okay.
This one's The Last Human, and there's the human, so I thought that was kind of amusing. It doesn't look like a human, but yeah, just traversing through the level.
Mark Gets Sucked In. Okay, that's an interesting name for a game.
Yeah. Some of these are really hard. I couldn't get through very far. Oh, hi, I'm Astrid. This one I think is one of my favorites. Really, really well done. Got to jump over the smiley faces, but you got to get the key to open the door.
Reminds me of that one game we have on the CoCo where you have to pick up the keys and climb the ladders and stuff like that. I forgot what it's called.
Well, Downland. There's Downland.
Not Downland, but there's another one where you have like these brick walls and you climb up and down ladders and you have. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
Matthew says this looks better than Mario Maker.
Yeah, I bet they had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, that's cool. These are 10-year-old kids making games. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's better than anything I made at 10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, that's neat. Very cool. All right, so 2 new packs. The AGD hits, they just keep coming.
Yeah, and they're available on the Dragon X4, but they're also available on the CoCo, so you can just put them right in.
And you can download an individual disc of each pack, or you can download the big mega packs that have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next up we got Bart Vanden Acker releasing an Indiegogo campaign to raise money for a museum in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Looks like there's about 2 months to go. They're looking to raise about $28,000.
Okay.
And he wants his museum to be fully interactive, so up to 200 older computers that you can play on.
Okay. The link to that is here, right? Yeah, I think we should probably support that. I think CoCoTALK should support this. Yeah. All right. So, cool. Yeah, we've had Bart on, and we've seen he's got a Facebook page, and yeah, they've got all original hardware, not only on machines that we would see in the U.S., but also a lot of other ones from all around the world, but obviously in Europe, and even some ones from Russia and other places like that. So A lot of neat machines. It's all real hardware in pristine condition, and they're all working machines you can come in and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the.
And it is a physical museum. It's a brick and mortar building that you can walk into and put your hands on all this vintage equipment.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. We got Todd Wallace showing off a program he's made, which is an 80-column mode CoCo 3 text editing tool. So you can draw on the screen with your keyboard, and you use the mouse, or you use your cursor keys to move the cursor. You just draw in colors or letters, and then you can save it out to a disk.
Yeah, he was on our programming talk last week and was talking about this. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, very cool tool.
Dragon Bytes.
Yep. We got Floppy Days released the podcast with Randy Kindig. Episode 92 features a interview with Dave is it Lagerquist?
Lagerquist. Lagerquist or Lagerquist.
Yeah, he worked for C-Load for the Model 1 through 3, and then started Chromaset, the first tape-based magazine for CoCo back in the early 80s. And he's got a lot of great stories on this podcast.
That's cool. Yeah, definitely need to listen to that. Yeah, and I think when Randy posted this thing, he's saying that he actually recorded this interview like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so he was saying that, I've had this one in my back pocket for 2 years, but the nature of this show is pretty timeless. So since we're talking about things that happened 30 years ago anyways, right? So, but this one just aired. So this should be of interest to us on both sides of the Tandy family, right? So on the TRS-80 line and on the CoCo line. Randy is one of the original retro podcasting guys. He's like the godfather of retro podcasting, just about. Floppy Days has been around a long time. Cool stuff.
All right. Moving on, we got...
Paul Fiscarelli points out that guy, he's the one who coined the phrase CoCo. Dave Langerquist or Kist, yeah. He's the guy who coined the phrase CoCo. He's the one who came up with that, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so that'll probably be in the interview, so you might want to listen to that, just for that, to hear the origin of CoCo.
Great. So we got Tony Jewell posting some photos from the Dragon Meetup 2019 at the Center for Computing History in Cambridge, England. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, so let's just go back to that first one. Let's look at the group here for just a second. Let's see if I don't know everybody in the UK, but I want to see if I recognize anybody. Okay, in the far left with the black dragon T-shirt with the red wings on it, that's Karen Inscombe, the author of X-Roar. So far left, if you move your mouse over there for just a second, I recognize Karen right there. Okay, that's Karen. Okay, somewhere in here too is Steve Bamford, Bosco, who made Flag and Bird and is working on that new Japanese style game. So I don't quite recognize Steve just yet, but
there he is.
There he is. Okay, there's Steve.
Some kind of an Intel shirt.
Okay, cool. So I don't recognize everybody by face, but there's a few who we have, right? So that's cool. So this is like their CoCo Fest. This is like Dragon Fest, right? So this is the Dragon Meetup. They do it once a year. And this looks like a pretty good turnout. So let's look at some more of these pictures here.
Yeah.
Neat. That's the black dragon. Dark Dragon 32 in dark. That's cool. Yeah, these are the real dragons, not our Tano dragons are the US versions of these, but ours run on, 110, 60 hertz. These are the 220, 50 hertz dragons. The original.
These suckers hum when you turn them on, or you're making it sound like they have gravitas.
Yeah, gravitas. Look at this thing here. Now, is this a prototype for a Dragon Pro, or something professional with 2 3.5-inch floppies?
Yeah, it was prototype.
That looks cool.
Never manufactured.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Wish we could see the sign there a little better.
Yeah, the placard would have been good.
Okay. I see a speech sound pack down there. So a couple of in a Orchestra 90.
neat mouse.
Yeah. Okay. So it's nice to know that we got some CoCo peripherals that are interchangeable.
Got some spaghetti wire on the
Yeah.
Dragon there.
Some Dragon cartridges there. I've actually got some Dragon joysticks that are new in the box that I got from Matt Witt about 4 years ago at a CoCo Fest. He bought a container.
Like them black ones? Like them black ones up there?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like in the top right-hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some of those new in the box.
Wow.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, that's Steve, right? So that's his new game that he's working on. That's looks like a Mario style game. It's also using the Game Master cartridge. I can't pronounce the name; it's Japanese sounding, but he's got a channel for it in Discord too. So if you want to talk to Steve about this,
well, what are these top loading systems here? Is this
those look like Famicons or something? I don't know what the hell those things are.
So is his game a clone of this Famicom game?
No, it's an original game he's working on that looks like a Mario style game.
That's interesting.
But yeah, those things kind of look like Famicons. I don't know what the hell they are.
What is he playing it on?
What I see is touching a keyboard on the right there, so it must be another Dragon system. Or honestly, I don't know.
That don't look like
Yeah, maybe these are unrelated.
Yeah, those could just be completely unrelated.
I think he's trying to make us...
Okay, that's the system there. So I don't know what that system is, but it's got...
That's a...
Sorry, Bruce, you're breaking up. Well, go ahead.
That's a CoCo clone of some sort there.
Okay. CoCo clone.
Here in the comments it says a Brazilian CoCo clone.
Okay, Brazilian CoCo clone. Okay, the CP400 Color Computer 2 Brazilian CoCo clone. All right, so his game's working on that with the Sega Joypad adapter. That's cool.
Fujitsu Micro.
Nice. Look at that. And has that got like a VDG on it? Or is that a CoCo VGA on it? That looks like CoCo VGA with a mixed case. Hard to say.
Huh.
Interesting. Okay, there's Steve's game again. Oh, that's Flagenberg. Okay, there's the Alice, the red Alice, yeah. So they've got a white and a silver CoCo. So CoCo 1, CoCo 2. Richard Atkinson on Facebook saying he's playing it on a Pro Logica CP400 Mark II. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, this is really neat. I like that laser system. Looks pretty cool back. What's that thing you're pointing at right now? The wide thing on the bottom there.
Yeah, it's got some kind of a pen.
Oh, what the hell that is? That looks really cool though.
Is that a little printer built in?
Mouse pen thing. I don't know.
Oh, is that like a thermal printer, like a receipt printer on the left there or something?
Or a tape. It could be
It looks
tape.
like maybe a tape cartridge.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
Where's the controls?
Here it says tap. So apparently this is some kind of a mouse or tablet.
Okay, maybe it uses maybe that's a light pen for a screen too. You never know.
Yeah. Oh, could be.
You store it right inside there, and you drop the flap down. You see it, the flap.
Oh yeah, that's a flap. That's a little cover, so you would stick the light pen in there. Man, that was a pretty advanced system.
It has a yellow enter key, which is strange.
So you don't miss it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be retro brighted. That's the actual color of it.
That's a family. All those machines there are inspired by the CoCo. Those are all related.
Yeah. Well, except the Alice's.
Well, Alice isn't inspired by the MC10.
Which came
it looks like an MC10 clone. Well, the Alice was at a Tandy.
I think Tandy sold it off when they lost. They've lost any interest in making the MC10 anymore. I think they sold off the rights to whoever makes Alice.
Okay.
So it's the bastard son.
It's the French cousin. There's a nice dragon. And there's that prototype dragon with the 2 floppy drives. See, those are the Dragon joysticks I have. Those 2 black ones. They're in the center. I've got 2 of those new in the box. Yeah.
Here it says Dragon Beta.
Dragon Beta. A beta.
Very cool.
All right, we're pulling up the hoods. We got the hoods up. Yeah, I could use hot rods here, huh?
This show is no longer kid friendly.
Yeah. That might be a CoCo VGA in there on that one in the bottom. There's some type of add-on board there. Just right there. Yeah, that could be a CoCo VGA or some other add-on item. I'm not sure. I don't know the innards of dragons very well. But it looks different than the other ones.
So this is the process of rocking the 8-bit world right now.
Rocking the 8-bit world, yeah. So those are our European family members.
That actually looks like the 80 column board that's being built
okay.
right now for the dragons. So it looks like it's about the right size.
Okay, 80 column board? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody know, like, if you get a dragon from the UK, I know that the power adapter is going to be different, but if you had a Tano Dragon power adapter, could you plug it into one of these things and power it up, or?
I think they're close, but I'm not sure. I have a Tano Dragon, but I don't have any of the European ones.
Yeah.
We're going to see if the dragon smoke comes out.
Yeah, release the dragon smoke. That's a good question. I don't know enough about electronics and... Okay, here's Richard Atkinson. That's the external character set board from the Dragon 200E. Dragon 200E. Okay, so it's a different character set ROM. That response is probably out of sync to what we were looking at in the past, but still, we're getting some feedback there.
The board I was talking about is called the Dragon Plus.
The Dragon Plus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on? We got the Coco Pick editor from Jason again, Jason Pittman. This is real interesting. It'll take your picture, any kind of picture, and then bring it down to the 16 colors, or 4 colors, depending on what you select here, 2 colors. So you can then save it out and display it on your Coco.
Wow, that looks cool.
Yeah, it's got a compiler, or I guess, I don't know what you'd call it,
I like that palette
code
picker.
generator, I guess is what you call it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can output it as CMOX C. I think it might have also output to assembly.
Man, that Back to the Future looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, well, and here he's showing how you can modify it so you can make it look even better. You try. I think what it does is it does a best guess, and then you can go in and reassign all the colors.
Okay.
Great Scott.
Yeah, great Scott. Hey, real quick too, go back to the Dragon tab for the Dragon Meetup tab for just 1 second. I just want to make kind of a public statement to our brethren in the UK and the EU. You know, I know in the past I have tried to invite you guys to come on the show. I want the Dragon folks to know that we think of you guys, and I don't always remember to mention Dragon stuff because I don't follow the Facebook group as far as I can. But we're going to try to make a more conscious effort to be more inclusive of the Dragon community because, listen, we all love the same thing. We're into vintage, we're into retro, and this is all CoCo related, right? So for our Dragon folk, we love you. You are always welcome to join us on the show, and we will definitely try to make a more conscious effort to cover more Dragon content, and I would really love to have you guys come on. I know there's a big time difference for us at 2 o'clock. It's 7 p.m. for you guys, but hopefully that's not too late. I mean, Nick Marentes, it's 4 in the morning for him. So just know that you guys are always welcome to come on the show whenever you want to, and we will try to be a little bit more inclusive. It's never been intentional. It's just been just bad negligence to not remember to cover Dragon content. So we're going to try to do a better job of doing that. Sorry about that, Eric. Back, as you were.
Great. Yeah, I don't know if there was anything else you guys
that is really cool, though. That's a super cool tool. Yeah. So it's kind of programmatically taking a high color, high resolution image and then generating a CoCo equivalent with only 16 colors or possibly less.
Yeah, up to 16 colors. It can bring it down. You can use dithering, 2 different methods of dithering. You can set it to RGB or composite mode. You do 2 color graphics, different screen modes. You can change where the cropping occurs, or you can set it to fit. I think he was still working on some of these features, so they might not all be ready. But
that is so
but
impressive.
It works for the most part.
Yeah.
Here's the code that it generates.
Man, that's so cool. Thanks for doing that, Jason. And Jason, if you can join us now, please join us. And if not, we definitely look forward to having you on our screening party tomorrow night. James Jones says, you got to admire that kind of dedication, 4 a.m. Well, Nick's just a nut, but yeah, we appreciate Nick's nuttiness. And then it outputs to a CoCo, and then it's loading it up.
Yep,
So
he used Visual Studio, probably with his plugins to just kind of automatically load it up.
Okay, so James Jiffendaffer is saying that machine with the light pen is a Thompson T07. The black machine was on the same table was an M05. Okay, and he's pointing to a Wikipedia article for that.
I think they're 6809 based French machines.
Okay. Whoa, right there. Les 6809 in Francais.
I don't think they're CoCos as such. They don't have the 6847 as you can see by some of those pictures, but they're 6809 based.
Okay, so they still have the same heart and soul as our CoCo. So
I think,
cool.
I'd have to look it up, but I seem to recall. Yeah.
We now have a correction. He says it's a Thompson T07. Okay, not Thompson T07. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So I personally would love to make one of these events. This is going to require a lot more planning. Like, it's hard enough for me to plan for a CoCo Fest that's only a day or two's drive, but when getting a passport, booking international airfare, and all that kind of stuff. But I would like to make an assertive effort to get to the UK next year for a Dragon meetup. That'd be kind of cool to have a CoCoTALK remote from there. So it's on my wish list. It's on my to-do list. Maybe when we get closer, I'll reach out to a few folks, and maybe if I have a place to crash and don't have to pay for a hotel, that would make it a little bit easier pill to swallow to get there too. But yeah, I would love to attend one of these things and just meet everybody across the pond, you know. That's a better zoom in there. You can see how the little door opens up with that light pen in there. That's such a cool. That does look more like a cassette loader there too, right? The T07. Yeah, Thompson. I'm not even familiar with the company Thompson, to be honest with you.
It's a French company. They do military stuff, and they do computers.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a custom cassette or what, because I don't see the tape spindles.
Play controls, yeah.
Yeah, there's no control.
Okay, James Diffendaffer says that it's a 1 megahertz-ish 6809 with a different video chip.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it does 16 colors and everything. It's
So under that door, could that be a ROM cartridge instead?
Possibly. It could be a cartridge
Maybe.
slot too. Who knows? Who knows what's under the door, right? James is saying that Thompson made monitors as well. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Interesting. Cool. What else we got in news there, Mr.
Well,
Canales?
that's about all I've got. I know there's some community updates. I don't know if you want to cover those.
Yeah, maybe we'll take a break and then we'll come back. Actually, before we take our break, go ahead and stop sharing, and we'll just come back to the panel. So right now, the main topic for today was, and Bruce, are you with us?
Hello. I'll turn on my camera.
DeBruce is here.
Howdy.
Bruce.
Okay, D. Bruce Moore has joined us on the panel right now. We have got Nick Marotta, Eric Canales from Glenside. We've got Mark Overholzer, Ron Delvo, Brian Weiseler, Mark Bosley, Jason Reichart. DeBruce is here. Of course, there's Greg, Nick Marentes, and David Ladd. So, Bruce, are you excited about our screening party tomorrow?
Very excited. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. You know, I was realizing the last little while that while it's great to put something out and have individuals enjoy it, on their own, there's really something about this. Really is a community. It's a community effort. The CoCo Forever story is a community effort, and I think it's enjoyed best with other community people.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to us all kind of getting together and enjoying listening and even hashing out some of the crazy ideas.
Yeah.
Crazy ideas that well, could this have really worked? I mean, obviously time travel doesn't work as far as we know. But just, it's fun to wonder what if,
right.
What if Andy somehow managed to get the jump on the other guys and how could that have happened and all that? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And
it's looking good as far as getting, I think we've got a good chance to get all the cast.
Okay.
Absolutely everybody on the show. I'm
Okay.
working just with a few other people to see if that can work out. So.
Right. So what this is going to be is it's going to be a private screening, so it's not live. So the only people who are going to be able to partake in this are those who are on the call. Now, we're still going to use this same tool, Zoom, that we're using now, so we can all be together and listen and talk. Yeah. And we're going to listen to it. It's not going to be live streamed, so it's going to be a private party, a private screening. Bruce, the creator, is going to be here. As many of the actors who were on it. We'll try to compile as possible. We'll listen to it together. When Bruce and I were talking about this last week, kind of getting my ducks in a row, I realized there's some things I didn't even experience myself, because what I ended up doing was I put all the audio pieces on a stick to listen to in my car. So I listened to the 10 episodes, but I missed 2 videos, and I didn't play any of the software. So there's a lot of interactive software that comes with it too. So even for me, there's going to be some things that I'm not going to be seeing for the first time. So that's going to be kind of cool. And it's just going to be a fun time of us getting together. And so what we did is we basically said, if you were in the production, we want you to be there. If you're on the panel of Coco Talk, we'd like you to be there. If you are a patron of the show, we've invited all the patrons, and we've gotten some feedback from those who want to. And then we basically said, if you are none of the above, or if you have not purchased, and also if you've purchased it, right? So if you're a consumer, you're also invited, right? So if you haven't bought it, if you weren't on it, and you're not a patron, and you'd still like to be on the private party, we had a little contest where we said, send us an email, and then we'll draw it live on the air and we'll announce the winners. And so I have a list of everybody in no particular order who has requested in one way, shape, or form or another to be on it. And I'll just go ahead and go over that list right now, if that's okay with you, Bruce.
Yep.
Okay. So in no particular order, we have Terry Steggy, we have Eric Canales, and we have Blair Leduc, or Blair Leduc. I don't know how to pronounce that, but Blair is both a patron of the show, and I believe he also recently purchased it as well. He doubled down on that, right? We have Rondelvo. We have Bill Noble, Mark D. Overholzer, Richard Lorbieski, John Lowery, Nick Marotta. You got to count him 3 times. Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta. So we got him.
That's okay.
Yeah. That makes 9. Then we have Brendan Donahue, Terry Steen, David Ladd. Well, David Ladd's in the production at some point, right? Ron Klein has requested to be on. He says he's got to work, but hopefully he'll be able to make it. Jason Reichart. Jason, are you going to be there? Jason, that was your cue to do your bad accent. I guess he missed it. Okay. Jason will be there. Stop right there.
Stop right there.
Stop right there.
That's right. Okay. DeBruce is going to be there. That's you, right, DeBruce?
Yeah.
Okay. Grant Leety will be there. Paul Fiscarelli. Jason Pittman, who actually submitted a reason why he wants to be on. So Jason's on the list, and then Brian Weiseler is on the list too. And I know I've missed a few crew members, cast and crew members, but now I've just got a new one too. So Dan Loyal says he would like to attend, and Paul Fiscarelli. So Dan Loyal has now emailed us too. Thank you, Dan Loyal. Alexander Wallace, our friend from Mexico. So let me go ahead and just add 2 more names to the list now. So we have Dan Loyal. The party continues to grow, right?
I think that's 22 so far.
And Alexander Wallace would like to attend. That's 21, 22 people right now. That's going to be a big frickin' party, right?
Right. And I think I've got 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 more cast members.
Okay.
So
right. So there's cast members that you know about that we don't even know, that aren't from the community, right? So you've got some of your... Right. So will possibly some of those be with us?
Well, yeah. Well, Jacob's going to catch the first part anyway, and my wife she did 2 of the significant voices on there, so I'll try and get her to make an appearance, and then I've got
Mrs. Bruce.
Mrs. Bruce.
And, opposed to my insignificant role.
Stop right there, Jason.
And then there's my nephew Ethan, who plays the guy in the mailroom, and that's kind of hoping to get him on. And then there's my niece Alicia, who does she does a few voices. She's I shouldn't say what they all are because I don't want to give away some. Yeah,
true.
Points.
Okay.
But she's got she had some very tough technical lines to do.
Okay.
She really.
Were any of them stop right there?
No, nothing quite that hard. Yeah.
Hi-oh.
Ho. Well, it's going to be.
So we're looking at well over 20 maybe we'll, maybe by showtime we'll hit 30 people. Let's see.
That's going to be quite the party, right?
Yep.
This is the most inclusive private screening,
Yeah, it's actually going to be bigger than any episode of CoCoTALK we've ever had as far as the gathered panel. And so, yeah, it's not going to be live stream, but we are going to record it. And once that has been done being recorded, well, then it's up to DeBruce what he wants to do with that recording as far as...
I'll do some heavy editing to make sure it's,
All right. Now, since this is going to be in the evening, and I believe most of us are adults, would it be okay to have an adult beverage while we enjoy this production?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. So, and is it encouraged to have an adult beverage?
I think that you enjoy responsibly.
Enjoy CoCo Forever responsibly. That's right.
It's like WD-40 on a bolt.
Okay.
All right. So, Alexander, you're in Mexico. I want you to bring in some good tequila, some of the good stuff with the worm in it, and maybe some good Dos Equis beer or whatever else it is you guys drink down there. I don't have no idea. All we know about here is Corona and Dos Equis. Right? Stay thirsty, my friend. All right, cool. So it's a big party. It's going to be a huge party tomorrow. So the list continues to grow.
Yeah, and if you just view this episode, like CoCoTALK, like tomorrow afternoon, send it an email. You want to come join the show? Like you can come.
Yeah. So if you're not catching this live and you catch this later in the evening or early Sunday morning, and you still want to join, send an email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live. You're catching those too, right, Bruce? You see those when they come in? Do you see the ones that go to CoCoTalk?
Oh yes, yeah, I'm seeing those too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Jason who said he gave a whole bunch of good reasons?
Do you want me to read those on the air?
Yeah, those.
Yeah, those were really good. Let me find that email from Jason Pittman. So hold on one second.
Yeah, points there for creativity.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a CoCo Forever intro and outro on this thing?
I would need to get that from Bruce. If you send me the files and put them in the Google Drive, we could do that.
Yeah.
Every clip we play has it audibly.
It's true. They do.
Yeah. So, hey, John Laurie Stinnett says hello from Oregon. Okay, so here's Jason Pittman's response. He says, I saw the post about CoCo Forever, and it says, send in your reason why you should be a guest. So I would like to enumerate the various reasons why I should be a guest. Number one, I am fairly new. I'm a fairly new old CoCo fan, spending a stupid amount of time playing with my new CoCo 2 and 3 and various related goodies.
You belong with us.
Yes.
Free slope.
Number two, you guys are fun to watch. Okay. Sucking up always goes far. Number three, back in 1988, I made a CoCo 3 BBS to pick up chicks. Who does that, right?
Keep reading.
Yeah,
Keep reading.
Nobody called it, and it wouldn't have worked if they had, but that's not the point. Who says? I tell you a true story though. I met a girlfriend on my BBS. A girl, it's not even back then. Not a lot of girls called into BBSs, but there were one, and every single one that called mine, I hit on. So I was a teenager. What do you want from me, right? So
Must have been 1-800 Tinder.
Oh, Amy says BBSs are a great way to get chicks. So if you guys
watch, it's going to be after this show, a whole bunch of new BBSs are going to go on.
I'm going to start a BBS, man, meet chicks. I'm going to score. Yes.
Because the internet's old news. You got
Yeah, I mean, I ran a BBS as a kid in Miami. I was like 19 years old, and I hit on every. And honestly, you never knew if they were actually females. And online then and now, you still don't know, right? But I went on dates, and I met a girl who I ended up dating for a year and a half. That was my girlfriend that I met on my BBS. So it is possible. So he made a BBS to pick up chicks, but he says it didn't work. But that's not the point. And last but not least, reason number 4. I'm good at color baseball. So these are excellent reasons on why you're definitely, you're more than welcome to be with us on the screening. Thanks, Jason, and thanks for that project.
I don't know how he had so little luck with the BBS. I mean, he's athletic, he's smart, he can run his own server.
Yeah. You obviously have to have your own phone line, so that means you have to have some sort of dispensable income. You know,
Like
I needed my own phone line. Yeah.
Or he's resourceful and stole it from his neighbors.
Yeah, true. Ooh.
Why is CoCoTALK so attractive to women?
Certainly not because of the panel. And then maybe DeBruce. DeBruce might get a few people in here. I'm not sure about the rest of us slugs. Well, no, we got Nick Marentes here. Nick Marentes is a good-looking guy. Look at that picture there. 1970 never looked so good. So
that's right.
So
hey,
sorry, Nick.
Yeah. You know, when I got something very live that I could do here. I had an idea for another CoCo type song.
Okay.
I've only got one line and one little bit of melody, but it could turn into something. Would you like to be the first people to hear it?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
This was like half an hour ago, and I'll grab my guitar.
All right, this is awesome.
Yes.
The lovely and talented DeBruce Moore is gonna.
I can't find my ukulele, so this will have to do.
CoCoTALK Live Unplugged.
We are rocking the 8-bit world.
Yeah. Well, it's another 8-bit thing. So here we go. So, I mean, it's gonna go by real fast, guys, because it's like one line. Okay, here we go. Wait, can you hear me? Okay. Is the guitar like way louder than me?
No,
that's fine.
Nice balance.
Okay. 8 bits are more than enough. 8 bits are more than enough. I said something about they got man to the moon and something.
Yeah, something. I love the something part. That's really prolific.
Put man on the moon, something. Blah.
8 bits are more than enough. I love it.
8 bits are more than enough.
That's a tagline used by Joe in Ohio, Joe's Computer Museum. 8
Is
bits,
that right?
8 bits is enough. Yep.
Okay. Oh, well, I said
his thing is more than enough.
Yeah.
It's more than enough.
You see what he did there? He made it his own. Put a little spin on it. A little twist there.
So maybe we'll have a sort of a full featured song before too long. When we were talking about themes for the 40th anniversary, I mean, you can sing Happy Birthday. I don't know. But that's what came to my mind anyway.
8 bits are more than enough.
8 bits are more than enough. You can.
8 bits are more than enough. So why can't I find any 8-bit BBS love?
Yeah.
You could fit it in there somehow.
8 bits are more than enough with 16-bit registers. You gotta throw in the 16-bit register space somehow. So.
Well, don't forget, 8 is enough to fill your life with love.
Octopus love.
I'm not sure I like the sound
Danger,
of that.
danger.
Well, now octal is 8. Yes, that's true.
Yes.
Octal.
Oh, that's true.
Octal.
Yeah,
Octal.
come on. I was thinking.
And we'll see. Maybe when it comes to screening time tomorrow, maybe I'll have another line to it.
Another verse or two.
Yeah, we'll see. Or,
That's
well,
cool.
I got to finish a chorus even. So
8
like
bits
it.
are more than enough. That's
that's
got a nice.
the earworm, right?
Yeah, that is. It's a good hook right there.
You get that hook, and then if you can build around it, you're
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, really, the chorus is it. Everything else is fluff, anyways. The verses are just the fluff. You get to repeat the chorus. So
Pretty much.
8 bits are more than enough. Yeah, it's already stuck in my head, man.
Okay. We'll get Stevie to do one of the. You can do one of the choruses or something. We'll get you to sing it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, James.
It's more than enough to send a man to the moon. It ain't that tough.
James Diffendaffer says it took more than 8 bits to put men on the moon.
Oh,
It took
really?
What did it take? A 9th bit? What are we talking about here? How many bits? Was it a 9-bit processor, James? Come on.
Pluto still counts.
That was 68. That was 68. Really, they had more than 8-bit machines.
Well,
I guess
it could have been all custom technology, anyways. You know,
We
it
can
probably
take poetic
wasn't.
license.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay, so
imagine. Hey, Bruce, did you hear Coco Thoughts number 6? Were you here for that?
I sure did.
Did you like that one?
I did.
Yes.
I just, those, the trouble with some of those CoCo Thoughts is you really have to know some of the recent history to catch the absolute cleverness of those.
Subtle cleverness, not overt
Yes.
cleverness.
No, yeah, very subtle, very, unlike that Nightmare Highway, which slaps you right between the eyes, which I love. Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway. Yes. Good stuff.
On my way to Davenport.
All right. That your nightmare?
Well, it's a couch.
So we have covered a lot of things, and I feel like has it only been not even an hour and a half? Is that the time? Right now it's 3. Yep. It's not. I honestly, I feel like we've covered a lot. I feel like we're almost out of show, and I feel like we have not been here long enough. But so we've announced the winners. The current lineup of participants. We're already pushing 30 people for the party tomorrow night. And by the way, Amy, if you're still out there, I don't know if Neil Blanchard saw the invitation that we sent out, but he's invited to join us too. Neil was on the was part of the cast and crew of CoCo Forever. I did send him an invitation through the Facebook event. I don't know if he saw it or confirmed to that or not. Do you know, Bruce, if Neil confirmed attendance through the Facebook event?
That I've had, but I sure hope he makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gives a real, I love one of his deadpan lines. I just, there's one line there. Just every time I hear Neil say it, I love it. I love it. I'll point it out. Okay. Yeah. Cool stuff.
All right. How about we'll take another break, and I'm not sure what else we want to talk about. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Yeah, Ron Delvaux, go ahead.
Do you ever do any more of the people that contribute? The
patrons, the patrons. Yeah, we'll do that before the break. Good call there, DeBruce. Chad. So Chad says that's Nick's neighbor, Chad Cunnington. He says Bruce needs to get that rap song going. I got 99 problems, but 8-bit ain't one. Good stuff.
Keep the ideas coming in. Who knows? This
never know. Fun. That would be interesting to hear Bruce do a rap song. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to mention our patron sponsors. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back and see if there's anything left to talk about today, or if we just need to put a fork in this one. All right. So here we go. I want to say thank you to the patrons who spend money every month to help support all of the hosting and production costs that come along with this fine quality program. So we'd like to say thank you to Al Hartman and Alan Huffman and Blair Leduc and Brendan Donahue and his CoCo VGA project at CoCoVGA.com, and Brian Joyce and his cool retro blog called Exstructus.com, Fedor Stamen, and DeBruce Moore with his projects Forest of Doom at FOD.gracenote.ca and CoCoForever.gracenote.ca, Davey Mitchell, Diego's got a cool site, YACCS.info, yet another color computer site.info. Disney Saints fan, Eric Canales, and he's got a cool project site called color-computer.com, and Grant Leedy and Jason Downs and Ken Reichart. He's got a cool site called Ken, Ken, K-E-N, makeit.com. Kyle Eder, Malfunct, Paul Fiscarelli, Freno Mythic, Richard Lorbieski of Boyson Technologies, BOYSON Tech.com, Ripen Peach, Rob Inman, Steve Bjork, Terry Steggy, The Backyard Shed Gang, Tom C, and Tom S. We'll be right back after these words.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Right! This Christmas, Tandy has a very special offer. A family color computer pack to take away at a very special price. This family computer comes complete with software and costs an incredible $449, a saving of $241.69. It's powerful, educational, and ideal for the young and young at heart. The easy way to start computing. The Color Computer Family Pack from Tandy. Get it while it's hot. Tandy, the biggest electronic store in Australia.
As you start your journey to CoCo Fest, you notice the road ahead is littered with rogue furniture. You realize you are driving on the Nightmare Highway. The new game for the Tandy Color Computer 1, 2, and 3. Nightmare Highway. Stunning low-resolution visuals, digital to analog converted sound, 100% machine language and basic. What are they saying about Nightmare Highway? Nightmare Highway. Steve B. York says, of all the games released this year, this is one of them. L. Kurt S. Boyle says, this will not be on my site. Nick Marionette says, crikey, look at the size of that croc. Get your complimentary copy of Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway. At cancanmakeit.com. If you got it for free, you paid too much.
Coming soon.
All situations depicted in this trailer actually happened. This true story has been anonymized to protect the guilty. Starting in the dead of winter, a group of bored teenagers blew stuff up, learned code cracking, learned phone freaking, hijacked and hacked. No system was safe. No one could catch them, or so they thought. A true story at the dawn of the internet. System hacked.
Terry Steen says, I don't have to play Nightmare Highway. I lived it. That's right. It says, inspired by actual events, the actual events of Terry Steen on his way to CoCo Fest this year. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. All right, guys. Well, we're out of show. What else can we talk about? Or do we put a fork in it? Anybody have anything you guys want to philander or fillet here that we should toss about and talk about? Audience?
We're allowed to have a short week. I mean,
we are allowed to have a short show. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just figured I'd throw it to the panel, and I would throw it to the people listening and viewing right now. Anything that we should possibly discuss right now. Now, I also had created an area where we could throw out potential host topics, and so maybe there might be one of those times where I will look into one of these. We have a little area where we have mentioned some host topic discussions.
I don't know if this will come. I don't know if this will come through or not, but I had a lot of fun with this one this past week here. I changed the background picture on my iPhone or my iWatch.
Okay.
To took a picture of the gimme chip, and
okay.
I stuck it as a background, and I put that on the Facebook that I upgraded my iWatch, and a lot of people seem to got a kick out of that one. That was kind of
that's
fun
cool.
One, so.
I think sometimes in different intervals, maybe we could cover some people who have gotten their new CoCo and don't really know what to do or where to go, and just kind of review that there's an SDC, that there's a
true
archive, that there's joysticks, there's people making new games. There's kind of review things because I don't know. There's some people lurking that kind of interested, kind of looking to find out. Can I do it with my machine?
Yeah, good call. Good call.
Years ago, there's old rainbows out there somewhere that you can look through and get inspired with. And there's Ed Snyder making all kinds of neat new stuff, and maybe they haven't heard of him or.
Yeah, and that's a great point to bring up, and I think there's one answer to that, not the only answer, but an answer to that question, is if I could be a shameful plug time, but I had the same questions and concerns. That's why I started the website imacoconut.com. So it's IMA CoCo CoConut.com, and for that very reason, when I got into community about 4 or 5 years ago, I had to discover things, and so part of my voyage of discovery was to also document these things. So a good place to go, not the only place, but a place to go is imacoconut.com, because I do have links to the Facebook group. I do have links to Ed Snyder's website. I have links to the CoCo Crew podcast and the mailing list. So it's intended to be your quote unquote one-stop shop for all your color computer needs. Obviously, it's not the only resource, but I have tried to include as many as I've become aware of, and I do on the website say, if you know of anything that's not here, please send me an email and I'll add it to that site. I even made a page on there that's called Start Here. And if you go to Start Here, it mentions a few things. You get the CoCo SDC, get your stuff from the Color Computer Archive, and here's a list of some emulators and things like that. So that's a great point. And so
a lot of people, when they buy their CoCo off like eBay and stuff, it comes without manuals. And you can get manuals off of the archive, correct?
You can.
Or is there something better? I mean, is there a place to go that would explain how to get started programming, or, what books would I want to, collect to start reading?
You mean like a video series?
Okay, hey, there's a good idea. Okay. There's YouTube stuff.
There is. So actually, this has become our host discussion. So the host discussion is now, thanks to Ron Delvaux, the host discussion topic is called CoCo Essentials. If you are someone is new to the CoCo or needs to know what to do with the CoCo, what do we recommend? What are the essential must-haves, must-dos, must-sees of color computer stuff? So give us one, Ron, and we'll go around the panel and everybody give us one essential thing to know or do with your CoCo. Ron Delvaux, you're first.
Well, first is the SDC, and then there's a download you can get that will give you some a bunch of different things, utilities and games and things that you can put on the SD card that goes in the SDC. That gets you started playing with all kinds of stuff. But if you wanted to do programming and stuff, that's not my league. I don't know much about that. Maybe you guys can help in that area.
On that note, hold on one second. I'm going to zoom in on my camera here and show you guys a close-up. So this is a close-up of the CoCo SDC. And so what it is it's a cartridge that plugs into the cartridge slot of your CoCo, and it emulates a floppy disk controller. I took the cover off of my case, right? And so it emulates a floppy disk controller. There you use a normal SD card that plugs inside it, and when it boots up, you can then mount a disk image, and instead of doing things that you would do on an emulator, you can do those things on the real hardware. And there are lots of places to go to get disk images. The Color Computer Archive is one of them, right? And you were mentioning the Ultimate CoCo SDC image, I think, is something you can get from the archive. This has got a ton of stuff to put on your SD card, right, Ron?
Yep, correct.
So if there was a single must-have item for the CoCo, do we all agree it's the CoCo SDC?
Absolutely.
Right. And you can get this from Ed Snyder. Ed Snyder's website is called The Zipster Zone, TheZippster zone.com. Ed Snyder is the producer of this, but the original designer of the CoCo SDC is Darren Atkinson, right? And it definitely is the single most important product to have for your color computer. It negates the need for floppy disks. However, Eric Canales was using a real floppy drive to do his archiving project, where he took physical real floppies from a floppy drive, converted them to disk images that could then be mounted on a CoCo SDC or an emulator or things like that, right? So
now there's also solutions for when you get that CoCo and you plug it into a TV, you're going to be maybe disappointed because of how it looks, depending on what machine you have. Channel 3 and 4 on a flat screen TV looks pretty decent sometimes because of the fact that nobody's using channel 3 and 4 anymore, which makes it cool to use. But there are solutions for that too that you can learn about. And if you have a little extra money, you can buy those to attach, such as the what is it called? The Jason's thing.
So there's the boomerang. There's the switcheroo cable for the CoCo 3 RGB. There is the CoCo VGA upgrade kit from Brendan Donahue, which gives you VGA output on a CoCo. Ed Snyder has got composite mods and S-video mods where you can output a CoCo 1 or 2 to have a different, cleaner output. Like you mentioned, the channel 3 or 4 Works surprisingly well, especially when you bypass that switch box. The old RF switch box, I feel, was a huge introducer of degradation to the signal quality, right? So combined with the fact that we can go direct to our TVs with just a coax F connector to RCA adapter, you go straight from your CoCo to that. The fact that there is nobody broadcasting on analog anymore, so channel 3 and channel 4 are completely unencumbered with any type of radio noise. In a clean direct cable, the picture and sound is not horrible on that, and that's built into all CoCo. So that's a real quick and easy way to get things up there. So now we have DeBruce Moore holding up some essential manuals, right? And I think Ron mentioned most of these are available on the Color Computer Archive, so you can get them digitally, but nothing beats having a physical paper book that you can hold in your hand and flip the pages through. So getting started with Color Basic, an important thing to have. Assembly with, so that's the William Barden Jr.'s assembly book, right?
Yeah, and someone said that those books that were made for the CoCo were actually very, very good.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I taught myself to program in BASIC from those books, and I was a freaking tard. So if I could do it, anybody could. All right.
Yeah, I'd say you should check out the Unraveling CoCo series too. It has a lot of good hardware information if you're interested in programming the hardware.
The Unraveled, is that what you said, Eric?
Yeah, the Unraveled series of books has really good information on the hardware.
Yeah, and so a lot of things we're referencing now are available on the Color Computer Archive. I believe the link is just the colorcomputerarchive.com. But if it's not, if you go to imacoconut.com, there's links to it there under resources, right?
It doesn't have the word the, but
no,
yeah,
it's just it's not the, just colorcomputerarchive.com. Sorry, there's no the. If you're interested in programming in BASIC, again, shameful plug, I did a series on that where I went through most of the chapters, kind of chapter by chapter. May be useful to someone. You're getting ready to hold up something there, Brian Weiseler.
What Eric was talking about, the
Extended Color Basic Unraveled. So these are basically disassemblies of the ROMs, explaining the ROM calls, right?
That's right. And that may not sound interesting if you're not interested in this BASIC or BASIC. But it's got a lot of information on how the hardware actually works. So even if you're not interested in basic routines, you'll get a lot of information about how to program the CoCo.
Right.
The Peaks and Pokes is a good resource too.
Yeah, 500 Peaks, Pokes, and Execs, and I believe there was a follow-up to that too. So there's at least one or two of those. Those are available on the archive. I believe I've got physical copies of those too. I remember those back in the day. Those were some serious like Bible type things to have for the CoCo.
When you go through it,
library for it there.
Yeah, you can find all kinds of things that you can make the CoCo do that you thought, oh, well, that's cool. That'd be neat.
Yeah. We're having some suggestions out here. So Alexander Wallace is saying some things like some introduction to Nitrous 9. Which is a great idea. We've had a few Nitrous 9 segments on the show, and Curtis Boyle, who's not with us today, has been working on the Ease of Use project that continues to make Nitrous 9 a little bit easier to get up and running. And so I would imagine that we'll have more revelations on that project as he continues to work on it.
There is a GUI now, which makes it kind of like Windows.
Menu loader, yeah.
Right.
What's that called? G Shell?
Yep.
Yeah, so G Shell lets you launch programs by their icons and everything else. So it does it's kind of like getting closer to like Windows 3.1, right? Where
it's point and click stuff.
Point and click, and one of the things we saw with Rob Inman is Rob Inman is starting to use something called RSB, Radio Shack Basic and OS 9, where you can take a disk extended BASIC and run it in OS 9. So that's kind of cool. So he's trying to port some RS-DOS basic games to run in OS 9. A lot of great topics. We've started kind of a spontaneous show the past few weeks where we're doing CoCo coding at night, where we just start talking about programming, and it's very long-winded, non-structured, non-sequitur type stuff where we're talking about BASIC and assembly and OS 9 and RS-DOS and hardware and software and DriveWire and TTL and RS-232.
And speaking of DriveWire, you can make your computer a big hard drive for your CoCo.
True.
By using DriveWire and having a simple cable that you could even make yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised in how well those community coding discussions have done. You know, we end up having, you know, a dozen or 24 people with us for 4 or 5 hours. We into the midnight hours for me. We're sitting here talking. I the last time we did it, I'm like, guys, I would love to keep going, but my eyelids are failing me right now. I can't keep them open. I got to pull the plug on this. But yeah, last time we were up till midnight my time, and we were not ready to stop. You know, we just kept going and talking and just sharing ideas. So it was kind of cool. It's not really a show as much as it is almost like a geek club where we're just hanging out talking about stuff. But it was really cool. I got a dozen or more people doing that live. The replays have gone into the 150 plus views. So for an obscure, long format niche topic, people are enjoying that. So we're going to probably continue those. We've had 10 episodes of Programming in Assembly with Steve Bjork, and I've been meaning to release those videos just on their own as its own series. So hopefully I'll get going on that. What else?
There's a lot of game reviews on what YouTube.
Yeah.
That if you find a particular game that you might have been able to acquire or you're looking for, you look on YouTube and you can maybe find it previewed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then see if you want to use it. And there's adventure games that'll keep you busy for a whole long time, especially
yeah, we need to do that. Yeah, we need to do that one night, like a group crowdsourced adventure game. And maybe a good one might be the Interbank Incident, since I've never solved that one. Richard Lorbieski seems to have a lot of knowledge about it.
Yeah, I've never seen it played at all.
Yeah, we can get one of those hooked up. My problem was it looks best on the CoCo VGA, but I couldn't get the speech sound pack to work on my CoCo VGA PC, or CoCo. So I got to see if I can't solve that problem. But that would be a cool little project. We kind of crowdsource and work on a group solution to one of these bigger adventure games. That would be fun. What else? Essential stuff. So we have the CoCo SDC. We all agree that's. What about memory upgrades if you got a CoCo 2 or 3? We're getting back to now episode 112 where we talked about RAM. What do we think the minimum requirement for RAM on a CoCo 3 is?
512, right?
512 is not recommended. It's minimum requirements. We've decided, it has been spoken, it has been decreed. If you don't have 512, spend $15 and get it. It's easy to do. It's cheap. It can be done. Make it so, number one. And then there's 2 megs.
Vendors.
There are a plethora of vendors. There's a plethora of at least 2 vendors making 512 upgrades. Jim Brain's working on an 8 meg upgrade. So there's going to be all kinds of crazy memory.
And there are people that will fix your computer if you bought one that's defective and it isn't working.
That's right. We have Cloud9 will do that. Voice on Tech. We have a lot of other members of the community that will do that.
And we got people that will actually break your machine trying to help you fix it.
We have people that will break it for you. There we go.
Curtis, have people that will solder their hair.
It's people that will solder their hair. Yes.
There is a new processor we can add to it, a newer one. It's still old.
Yeah, the 6309.
Yes.
6309. There are new hardware options on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Such as?
And sound chips, which we lacked back in the day.
Nick, if you're speaking to us, we can't hear you unless you're speaking to someone else.
Gamepad adapters.
Gamepad adapters, yes. So
use like a modern Sega gamepad, which is a lot better for some games.
Yeah, like these Sega Atari style joysticks, which are the digital, more arcadey style or game console style joysticks. There's a couple of adapters for those.
Those are good.
Or just a mouse.
Up, down, left, right, like Donkey Kong or whatever.
Yeah. As Mark B was saying, there's mouse adapters now. David Ladd's working on a mouse adapter where you can plug in a PS2 mouse to your CoCo, which is better than the CoCo mice, which are harder to come by and just generally suck as far as mice go, especially the original steel ball CoCo mouse. That thing made a better boat anchor than it did a mouse.
Makes ease of use a little easier to handle in some games.
Chad says, here, let me get a Steve Irwin quote here.
Oh, crikey.
Chad says, crikey, look at the size of that RAM. Yes.
So some of us have upgraded our computers to 8 megabytes, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
And some have 2 megabytes as a normal. Seems like some now, even though normal used to be 128. And then, when you'd look in the magazines and see the offers for the new 512 upgrades, and that was back in the day. Now it's common.
Yep.
Not hard to put in yourself. There's videos on that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. We released one of those just recently on Facebook.
Yep.
How to add RAM upgrades to a CoCo 3. What about CoCo 1 and 2? Bruce, you were asking the question about a project maybe you and your son Jacob might want to do about upgrading RAM on a CoCo 1 or 2, which is not quite as cut and dry. But what are your thoughts on that? And have you made any progress on planning to do that?
Well, still looking into that. I could do, so I've got a pretty old CoCo 1. It's got a revision D board. I think it went up to F. I think F is the latest before we went over to CoCo 2. Is that right?
Yeah.
So the D board is, it's a little old and wonky. And they weren't really expecting, for instance, to put 64K RAM into it. But there are ways. Someone pointed me to an article from one of the magazines from way back when that showed how, a somewhat easier way to do it. And it looks like a fun kind of project. The idea is to, instead of doing something permanent to your CoCo, is you pull the memory chips out and you stick a bunch of sockets in. And there are several, like what you need to do is actually, solder one pin over to this other pin. It's kind of crazy and scary.
Piggybacking.
Yeah, and piggybacking, right? So, but if you do all that work on the sockets and drop the sockets in, then you're not actually, the chance of harming your CoCo goes down a lot. So that looks a little complicated for me, but if I get my head around it, I think I could do that. I saw another project recently where you could just add a simple power light, a little LED that you stick on the case, and so you can tell it's on, so you don't accidentally yank the wrong cartridge out.
Yeah, true.
Your CoCo. And the other thing was the RF output on that. It's, you've just talked about ways of making it better by bypassing that box. It's still pretty bad.
Okay.
But there is now. I know Carlos Camacho and I think it was David O'Connor. I think David O'Connor devised a composite output circuit that should work. And Carlos Camacho may be making circuit boards for it. So that would be, I think that would be my go-to.
Yeah.
To get it usable again.
Which includes sound also. What's that?
The composite out would that have audio out as well? It should.
I don't.
You kind of have to.
I guess. Yeah. Right. Otherwise, how would you get audio?
Because you're breaking it out from the RF. Yeah.
Right.
Were you asking a question there, Mark, about was it being sold as a kit?
Doesn't Zipster Zone sell a composite kit?
Probably does.
Yeah, but I think it's for F boards. I should look at that. In fact, I think Ed may have commented on one of my posts about that. I should follow that up and see.
Okay. Another one that Ed has too that's very clean, but this is for CoCo 3, but he's taking the RGB out from the CoCo 3 and then giving you an S video out from there. That's super clean. And I had an early prototype of that, which I still have and I use on occasion, and it's just as good as the HDMI output. Only thing it doesn't give you is the composite. But if you just want RGB, that's clean and pristine. That RGB to S video, it's a great tool.
I think it'd be a fun thing also because this CoCo that I've got, it's a 4K CoCo, and so it's got Color Basic 1.0, I think.
Okay.
To get a ROM replacement for that and an extended Color
Okay, well,
Basic
you just made me think of something. You might want to look into that Moo board, MOOH. Reach out to Ron Klein. He's a little bit more familiar with that, but the Moo board it's a cartridge. I think it gives you 512K of RAM.
Right.
And I think there's also an EEPROM socket on there where if you needed to upgrade a CoCo to extended basic, you could probably do that. And there are sources to get that. I know Mark O now's got an EEPROM burner and David Ladd's got an EEPROM burner. And I think Ed Snyder was also selling at one point in time disk extended Color Basic burned ROMs for people who needed to upgrade CoCos. So I think that
I have a Moo also.
Yeah, I think that does the Moo add RAM to your CoCo 1 and 2?
Yeah, it does. There's even a version of OS 9 level 2 for it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
gosh.
rather than having to solder anything, you can just plug in a cartridge and upgrade a CoCo 1 or 2 to 512K of RAM with an MMU. So it gives it like CoCo 3 like capabilities.
That's crazy. Now,
Yeah.
of course, that would mean I'd still have to use a cassette deck for loading and saving, right?
Or
Actually,
a mini
MPI.
MPI, Mega Mini MPI,
Yeah.
or just Mini
Actually,
MPI.
there's currently a bug in the Moo. It won't work without an MPI, actually.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So
maybe you should go to the Zipster's place so you can see the new MPIs that are being made.
Yeah, another thing too is reach out to Jim Brain about his CoCo Mem Junior, because that was a solderless thing that just went underneath the CPU. I think it plugged into the CPU socket and then the CPU plugged into it. And the CoCo Mem Junior is supposed to give you something like 2 megs of RAM or something silly.
1?
For a CoCo 1 and 2. Yeah, CoCo Mem Junior is adding an easy RAM upgrade for CoCo 1 and 2s.
Right. Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Terry Steen is saying his favorite project was a pause switch that used a spare NOR gate on the board to logic pair it with the card input so you could pause the computer and not mess up the disk I/O.
Whoa.
I understood some of what he said there, but
I think I know what he meant. That's
I know,
pretty cool.
I know David Ladd's talked about the halt line, where you could tap the halt line into a switch where you could literally pause your whole CPU with the press of a button and then unpause it.
It's like Santa pause.
Santa pause, yeah. Now this was a good call, Ron. I mean, there's a lot of things, and for those of us who are a little bit more, caught up with the community, where this is like second nature to us. But there's new people entering the community all the time that have those questions: what to do with our CoCo? What's out there for the CoCo? There's so much new software that's been out in the past couple of years. There's all kinds of new hardware. There's new keyboards that Ed Snyder's working on. There's new multi-pack interfaces. There are custom joysticks that John Strong's working on. Sound devices, memory upgrades, video output upgrade options. So Terry's saying that the halt line does not give you floppy drive control. So his would pause things but still let the disk I/O run. So that's a special kind of pause there, huh? Terry, why don't you join us, dude? Cool. What else? Good topic, guys. If you're new to the CoCo, what do you need to know?
Oh, and you can print through DriveWire, isn't that correct? To your modern printer? If you wanted to?
I think so.
Because most people, when they get an old printer, there's no hope for getting a ribbon for it, even though you'd probably like to use it. The only really way you could do it is if you had carbon paper, I suppose. But, and you're looking at the old baud rates, which are slow, 600, 1200. But if you do want to print something, maybe you have old diskettes and you want to, that's another thing. You can convert. If you get a CoCo with a bunch of discs, there are ways to get those discs digitized to your PC.
Yeah, it's kind of what Eric Canals was working on.
Or you can find them on sometimes they're already on the
archive.
Archive, yeah.
Yeah, colorcomputerarchive.com.
Yeah, as far as the printers go, last year I was on eBay, which would be a delayed acquisition. I came across some receipt printers that you could embed in like a table or something like that, because they're designed for embedded use. But they have TTL connections on the bottom for serial. So if you add a Max 232 chip to them, you could then run them to the Bitbanger port, and their default baud rate is 9600. So right there, you'd have a printer that you can go to Walmart and get the receipt paper and have a small little printer for the CoCo.
Without having to buy an old DMP. Would they do any kind of graphics, do you think? or is that just text?
Only the graphics that the receipt printer support.
Okay.
Terry Steen's got to go, but he says he'll see us tomorrow. He goes, I'll have to dig out my old schematic I made. It does use the halt, but it does not take over the halt. Excellent show. See you tomorrow. You see what David did there? David squeezed in a TTL and Bitbanger. He just never ceases to let us down, right? So,
well, and Ron brought up the drive wire stuff, so we got it all rolling out. And of course, Eric brought up the floppy drive. He brought in the good old magnetic media,
which, believe it or not, still works.
Still works. Well, when the nuclear winter happens, you guys have seen that commercial, right? When they drop the big giant EMP and all electronics go south, David Ladd and his floppies is going to save civilization and humanity for us. So, coming to a theater near you. Well, we just milked another half hour out of the show thanks to Ron Klein. So, good job there. I'm not Ron Klein, but Ron Delvaux.
I'll be him if you like.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think we've definitely touched on a number. It's so easy to take for granted because there's so much stuff, and but if you're new, it can be daunting and overwhelming, and possibly even like I don't even know where to begin. So a lot of people have come across the Facebook group or the mailing list or the CoCo Crew podcast or our show or one of these websites, and so that's a great starting point. And then, hopefully you'll find out some more stuff. So again, just to kind of shameful plug, but I created this for a reason, but imacoconut.com, IMACOCONUT.com has a lot of this stuff there, just easy to get to. And then if there's something you guys know about that's not there, let us know. We'll put it up there. And
is there a link to real-time clocks anywhere?
Is there a link? RTC.org is the organization for real-time clocks, right? So I believe there's a website called time.gov you can go to, Ron. So, if you ever want to know what time it is, just go to time.gov. All right. Are we ready to put a fork in this one?
Sure, why not?
Nick, did you want to talk about your game? We mentioned your blog post, but you want to talk about fun stuff?
It's all right. I'll wait for the next update.
All right, I'm going to play the outro. Give you guys.
Hold on, Stevie.
Yes, David Ladd.
One thing I was looking at our live streaming stuff and some of the stuff that you have related to the CoCoTALK. Could we also add into the video descriptions? Also, I'm a Coco nut. So that way,
yes.
Because I see all the videos, the Discord channel, Nick Marentes, the Facebook group, but I'm a Coco Nuts. I don't see it listed in the description to our videos.
I think it's in some of them, but it might have gotten
in some of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I need to make that part of the standard. Okay, good point there, David Ladd.
I'll make it a note when I add some of the indexing stuff to make sure it's in.
So that's just something, since Ron brought up the good point that we need to be putting information out there for the new people coming back, that maybe that should be a part of the description of the videos.
Absolutely. And I believe I mentioned it in the closing credits, but it's just kind of there. So I think we've definitely plugged it a lot on this episode. So, but yeah, we should probably make it a point to make that better known, right? Good call. Good suggestion, David Ladd. All right, I'm going to play the outro, and then we'll be back for some.
Don't we want to just have one saying from our
we
book
forgot
of
all
Australian
about that.
slang?
Yes. Well, let's have several. All right,
okay.
So
Well,
just pull up a random page.
Here's one. Drop a clanger.
Now we need to say that with a proper Australian accent. Nick Marentes, can you say "drop a clanger"?
Drop a clanger. I can't say it properly.
Okay. The meaning is disclose something embarrassing or a piece of startling information.
Oh,
yeah.
Clanger.
I'm going to drop a clanger. All right.
And there's also Drop a Darky, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I do know that one. Don't worry about that one.
That's sounding like borderline politically incorrect there. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
flip.
think Ron's read it.
flip through a few random pages down. Let's just pick out a page at random and point to a verse here, and let's
Heavens to Betsy.
Heavens to Betsy. I've heard that one before.
A mild oath. Exclamation of surprise, disbelief, wonder, annoyance, frustration.
You got to say it with an Australian. Heavens to Betsy. Heavens to Betsy. Heavens to Betsy. Look at the clangers on that beast.
Oh, my.
All right. Give us another one, Ron. These are Australian slang from the 9,000 page manual.
Not a patch on.
Not a patch on.
Oh yeah, like doesn't compare to.
Right. Yeah. Not a show.
Not a patch on.
And not think twice about. Oh, geez.
Give us a good one. A revelation here. A word we've never heard before.
Raise a laugh. Raise hell. Raise one's hopes.
Look under P for piss. See what they got there? For piss. That's what they call beer, having a can of piss.
Stingy.
Stingy. Uh-oh, what's a stingy?
Parsimonious, mean, miserly. Scantly.
Oh, stingy.
Oh,
stingy. Yeah.
Stingy, yeah.
We know what stingy means. It means greedy.
Stink hot. Stinking hot.
Stinking hot. Crikey. Stinking
Unpleasantly hot and humid weather conditions. Stone cold sober.
Stone cold sober. Unfortunately, what I am right now.
Not drunk or intoxicated.
D. Bruce recommended we run the CoCo Forever screening again video.
The CoCo Forever screening video. I got to find that on his YouTube channel real quick. Hold on.
No problem.
What's tupperance?
Don't know.
Prior to decimal currency. The sum of 2 pence.
It's used in Mary Poppins. Tuppence. Yeah, Mary Poppins.
Is that like
Is there any slang relating to hitting furniture with a vehicle?
Crikey, would you look at the couch on that highway? All right, hold that thought. I'm going to go over to showing the, just to remind you guys, if you want to join us tomorrow, send an email to CoCoTALK at CoCoTalk.live for our private screening. And here's the preview for that.
How does it feel?
CoCo Forever.
I'm still
I haven't seen any of the other retro or even modern communities try to pull off something like this. This is unique.
Next to the Switcheroo, the hottest selling CoCo product of 2018.
CoCoForever.gracenote.ca.
All right, there we go. Good call there, DeBruce.
That commercial reminds me of one of those old Japanese karate shows.
The
where the voice and the words don't match.
Garbage guts.
Garbage guts.
Gritty person who eats often and eats leftovers.
Garbage guts. Wow, that's a new one.
Give us a little taste again of his.
Faster than instant coffee.
Faster than instant coffee. That's not what this show has been so far, but
feeling chipper.
Feeling chipper. Is that like happy?
Yeah.
Feeling elated, having a sense of well-being.
Are you feeling chipper there, mate?
Was it chipper?
Oh, grog? Grog? Is it beer?
Oh, grog.
I thought it was Foster's.
Yeah, it's a grog.
Foster's
I
is a
think-
brand name. It's like Budweiser.
Oh, I know. It was a
Yeah.
commercial.
Just saw the
Foster's
commercial.
Australian for beer.
Yeah. How to
He didn't
speak Australian. Yeah,
Foster's Australian for beer.
Australian for beer. Yeah, the only thing we know about Australian stuff is what we see in the movies here in the States, right? So
Here's
accurate.
here's a borderline one. Don't stand around like a bottle of stale piss.
And that's beer, right? So they call it
That's
piss beer.
beer.
Yeah. Hey, mate, don't stand around like a bottle of stale piss.
Crikey.
All right,
Sounds like a
well,
bottle
I'm
of
saying
stale
goodbye
piss.
to everybody now. Later, everyone.
How is
All right,
this
David,
related to the Coco 2?
Yeah, I don't know, but we're learning how to speak Australian here. All right.
Hey, we're just boosting Australian content. So
There
we'll
we
get
go. That's right. We
five-star
had-
rating down under.
All right. I'm going to play the outro. You think of a couple more
Yep.
good zingers, and we'll be right back after this, Ron Delvo. This concludes another episode of Coco Talk, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things Coco Talk, visit us on the web at cocotalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live.
Coco Talk is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause Coco Talk is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at cocotalk.live.
Coco Talk is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause Coco Talk is rocking the 8-bit world.
Coco Talk would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvo, Rick Adams, Jason Reichart, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichart, David O'Connor, Brian Weiseler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Differendaffer for making my head explode. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's IMACOCONUT.com. The Coco Talk theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. All right. Good show, guys. 2 hours. 2 hours of nonstop mediocre content. But Eric Canales, thanks for being here. Thanks for being our news anchor today.
Yeah, thanks for having me as always.
Oh, and you're always welcome. And Eric is on Discord all the time. If you guys join us on Discord, Eric and many of us are there just chatting it away on a practically daily basis. Nick Moreno. Yeah, it's Jason.
Got one note here. Next week, I'm planning on popping in from the Classic Console and Arcade Gaming Show in Cleveland.
Is that Korg's Con?
No, it's not Corey's Con. It's that's a different thing. It's ccagshow.com.
Okay. Well, that'd be great. So you're gonna be our foreign correspondent. Excellent.
That's from the foreign country of Cleveland.
Okay, country of Cleveland. Excellent. Nick Marotta, thank you for being here. You were too kind. And Mark D. Overholzer, always a pleasure. Mark Bosley. Ron Delvo, great last-minute topic discussion there. What to do if you're new to the CoCo? What are some CoCo essentials Good topic. I think we covered a lot. There's never enough when it comes to CoCo stuff, though. Grant Leedy, the internet's own. Grant Leedy has been with us, and Nick Marentes. Anybody have any parting thoughts, words of wisdom you'd like to leave people with?
Well, hopefully we won't be on the grog tomorrow in the show.
What does that mean in your Australian
On the
slang?
grog is excessive indulgence in alcohol.
On the grog, mate. Hey, don't stand around like a can of stale piece. You got to be on the grog there, mate.
And then there's also the on the knocker.
On the knocker. I don't even know what.
I don't even want to ask.
It's being on time, punctuality.
Being on time. All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing bad.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I think. Yeah. Anyway, I won't
That's
say.
not this show.
Push the button, Frank.
All right. So.
Well, I'd like to apologize to anything I might have said in that book to our Nick.
No, it's all right.
He's going to have an American book next time.
We are going to press the button. We're going to end the live video podcast, and then seconds later, we're going to be ending the live audio podcast. Let's also thank our viewers, right? So who's been out here in the live audience here today with us? Nick Marotta, Terry Steggy, Mark Overholzer, Mark B., Ken Reichart, and Tim Franklin, and Terry Steen, and Joe Burnett, and Davey Mitchell, and DeBruce Moore, Mark Overholzer, and DeBruce, and Jason. That's Jason Pittman, who's going to join us tomorrow. Matchy has been out there. Mark Overholzer. Alexander Wallace from Mexico has been here. Paul Fiscarelli has been here. Chad Cunnington from Australia, where we say, don't stand around like a can of stale piss. And Mr. James Diffendaffer has been out here. And all kinds of people have been in the show. Alexander Wallace, Mr. James, Chad Cunnington, Matchy, and Joe Burnett, Terry Steggy, Terry Steen, Alexander Wallace, Dave's Hobbies, Erico has been out there, and that's just on the YouTube feed. When I switch over here to the Facebook feed, I remember Amy has been here with us. Who's been with us here on Facebook? So Fred Dufoy has been here. Ron Klein joined. L. Curtis Boyle. Al Hartman joined. Nick Marotta joined. Terry Steggy. Christian Turner. Tim Franklin. Chad Edward. And Greg Dion said something. Richard Atkinson has been, I think he's one of the Dragon guys, was out there. And Luciano was here. And Amy Grimwood was here. Amy's the one who did the artwork for the CoCo Fest this year, Make the Trek. She was one of the booth babes there at CoCo Fest as well. Richard Atkinson. John Laurie Stinnett has been here in the live chat. Paul Shoemaker joined. And so did Daniel Shepard, and Fred Dufois is saying goodbye all. So we're going to press the button. Say goodbye, everybody.
Adios.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, we're pressing the button on the live video feed in 3 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and you hang up.